Greetings, friends. Your cartoonist pal Stan here with a brand new episode of Random Encounters, the show where I use random encounter tables, like the kind you find in tabletop role playing games, such as Dungeons and Dragons, and together with dice. You need those to make encounter tables work. An electronic die roller and input from you, anyone who happens to be in the live chat room right now. I generate a random drawing prompt off the tables. A who, a character, a creature, a something, and a what, a situation, an activity, and I take the two and I smash them together, and we talk about it a little, and I draw something. I make a cartoon out of it. I never know what it's going to be until we hit the phase, and I just draw it for the fun of it. For the, what's it? Say it again with me. Fun of it. The point of the show is that drawing is fun. Drawing is fun for me. That's why I'm glad to be able to make some, or in better years, most of my living off it. But I do it just, even when I'm not getting paid, I draw because it's just a fun activity. Hello, Michael in chat. Thank you for popping in. Always glad to see you, my friend. And so this is my way to kind of encourage folks to draw, to enjoy the fun, the game, the random play of drawing. I encourage you to grab your favorite pen or pencil or marker or crayon or box of pencils, colored pencils, and just draw. Draw along with me. You don't have to draw the same things. Certainly don't have to draw them the same way. You don't even have to draw the same things I am. Just draw. Whatever catches your fancy. Maybe it's something sitting on the table in front of you. Maybe it's an idea that's been rolling around in your head. Maybe it's something that happened to you over the Thanksgiving break. Just draw it. Or maybe it's just random geometric shapes. Well, I know a lot of people who just enjoy scribbling out loops. Sometimes it looks like they've just been scribbling on a piece of paper, but it's fun and it's kind of hypnotic. It's just a great way to relax. Join me, won't you? Michael says I had my back to the speaker and jumped when I started talking from behind him. Ah, I'm here. Here I am. I am in the room. He's in the room with you. So, yes, that's what it's all about. We are, despite my my bright floral shirt, we are hitting the depths of the dark days when sun sets early and rises late, and it gets chillier. And that's a day. Those are the kind of days when it's even better to have something fun that you can just kind of do. In the drawing is fun category, I also consider coloring books or coloring pages. You can get a lot of cool coloring pages just kind of download for free at various places on the internet. It's the same. It scratches the same itch. It's a kind of artistic play. So if you don't, some people, I talk to some people who are a little anxious about the idea of drawing something from nothing. Right? Color something. Just do it. Just join me. Do it. Let's play. Let's play together. Sorry, I gotta stretch. I didn't stretch before coming on today. Usually I kind of give myself a pre-stream warm-up, which seems a little silly since I'm sitting here drawing, but it really helps to get the blood flowing. All right. You ready to start? I know I am. I've been babbling now for, almost 5 whole minutes. Let's draw something. So I'm going to grab my iPad. I do all my drawing here and just about all of my professional drawing these days on an iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil. And I use the app Procreate. I say this because people want to know. They ask, so I tell you. But none of this is sponsored. None of them are sponsors of this show. I pay for all of my stuff. Or you know what? I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. I've been lucky enough to have patrons uh, get involved and help me to upgrade. So it's not always come directly out of my pocket, but I paid. These have all been paid for. No sponsorships. I tell you these things because they are the tools I use, the tools I like best. But you use whatever you like best. So I'm going to grab here. I got to get everything set here. Open up the apps. And looking good, looking good. I think that's right. I think that's right. That's good enough. Let's have a look. Because these are... Where is it? There it is. These are the encounter tables for today. So let's grab a die. We're going to go to the die roller and see what we get for our first drawing prompt. So we're going to roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice, and we get a 6 and a 5, a white 6 and a black 5. So over the Who's, come on, the Who's are the white die. So it's a 6. That's a Drider, and a 5 is life drawing. Now, life drawing, for those of you who don't know, are drawing classes where you're drawing from a live model. Sometimes it's a nude model. Sometimes it's a clothed model. Sometimes I used to be involved in a group, a couple of different groups that did cosplay drawing. We would invite cosplay enthusiasts to wear their favorite costume and come and model in that costume for us. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, that would all fall under the category of life drawing. A Drider, of course, is a half drow, half spider thing. So, I don't know if the Drider should be the model or the artist in this drawing. What do you think? I'm turning that off. I'm going to come here, and we're going to... You know what I find? I need a sip already. Mmm. How sweet it is. Live model all wrapped up like a mummy in spider silk. So, let's see. In that case, I'm going to have the Drider. It's got a spider body and a humanoid torso on top of it. And then we'll have someone wrapped up in silk here. I did a... this is reminding me of a cartoon I did a number of years ago. I did a comic strip that ran in it ran in Dungeon Magazine, and then it ran in Kobold Quarterly. It was called Bolt and Quiver. And I did one strip where they were bound up and hanging upside down. And this is already the gag I've got thinking of this is reminding me of that. Gonna give the Drider a beret, a little artist beret, like got a smock. Now I've got the silk coming out of this Drider's minaret, but I don't think we need that. That's going a little too far. Do I own the rights to Bolt and Quiver? I do own the rights to Bolt and Quiver. That was one of the deals from the outset. Dungeon had and it's Paizo already at that time, certainly had the rights to print it, and there were terms for if they wanted to reprint it. But I retained rights to the comics and the characters. So, all right. Let's see. Excuse me. I'm going to mute myself for a second because I need to blow my nose. There, I'm back. I'm a loud honker of a nose blower. So, all right, there we go. That is a rough pencil sketch. Let's go in and start doing some drawing. Put in some finished lines. So, I want to, you know what, I'm going to start with, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right layer. Yep, lines layer. I'm going to start with the drawing hand. I'm feeling like that's the important place for me. And we're going to have a little beret on our Drider's head. I think it's funny to have him the beret and the smock, but still a bare chest. Nah, we don't need those lines. Let some color do that. And then we've got the spider legs. Like so. And what we're going to come now and finish the hair now that we know where the back of the spider is. Legs on the other side. Hey, Lem! Glad you can make it. How are things going with you? Now, drawing someone upside down is difficult. Here's what I do. I flip it around. And if I'm drawing on a real piece of paper, I flip it around there too. So now I can draw this person right side up to me. Even though they're hanging upside down. I think I'm going to save the hair to do upside down. That's where it's going to really... so I want the face, the basic anatomy of the person to feel correct, right? Whether they're right side up or upside down. So that's a lot easier for me to achieve here by drawing this way, by having turned the paper, or in this case the file, upside down. But I want the hair to have that feeling like it's being affected by gravity, and I'll have an easier time doing that if I look at it right side up. Alright, so we got the proportions pretty well done there. Finish putting it in. You see that I've really, for showing it, the wrapped up, this is very similar to what I do if it was a mummy. I just kind of put some diagonal lines, because you're not going to wrap it perfectly symmetrical, but some going one way and some going the other, having them cross over. You don't have to get too specific about it. In fact, it's probably best if you don't. You want it to look a little chaotic. But now we're looking at this guy upside down, and now I can see that the hair is going to be like this. And I want it to feel like he's spinning, like you would if you were, just kind of dangling by a thread. You'd be spinning. And in fact, that's what I'm going to have the Drider be saying. It's going to be saying, a little slower. Going to give him a shadow down there. Yeah, starting to draw a background. I don't know that I want to go through all that trouble. Driders are generally underground creatures, so I was going to start doing some stalactites and stalagmites, but I think that I'll just leave it like this. Alright, let's turn off the sketches and see what we've got. Sketch layer. To put a little extra detail in there, but mostly that's looking good. So how you all doing? How is your post-Thanksgiving first week of the holiday season going? I worked the holiday season, the transfer of Thanksgiving to Christmas into my the thumbnail for today's show. That worked out pretty well. I liked how that one came out. I'll probably try and find some way to use that drawing somewhere else. Um, Clem says always the models just won't be still. Having so when anyone that's done life drawing, taking classes, has probably at some point also had to serve as a model. There are days when the model doesn't show up, or you get together with friends and you take turns modeling for a pose or two, and you learn just how difficult it is to sit still for any length of time. Like, it's frustrating. Certainly, that's the the common knowledge. I'm going to start coloring now. Is that you know models don't stand still? How do you're trying to draw them and they're moving around? You're killing me. I can't. But you you try it and you try to sit as still as possible. It's amazing how difficult that is. So when I do have models that are very good at it, I make sure to compliment them on it, because that is a skill that very few people appreciate. Or, in fact, I don't think anyone appreciates until they try and do it. All right, I'm going to make a darker of the same color for the eyelids. Red beret? Probably a red beret. You might. My first inclination was to go for a black beret because that's very artsy. But so much of the Drider's body, the Drider has basically a Black Widow-esque spider. So most of the spider is going to be blackish, and I thought, let's not. We don't need that for the beret too. I've got the spider body in 3 parts, and so I've made the middle part just a little lighter than the abdomen and the posterior, whatever we're going to call the posterior. And then I'm going to come for another lighter color for the legs. So it's similar to what I do for armor, right? I'm taking the different parts of the Drider, like anything that's one of these connective parts, the knees, the or where the legs meet the body. I'm giving it a specific color of its own. It doesn't really work out that way, but it helps. It helps to just kind of set the tone for the creature. And what do I need? I need a brownish color for the back of the art pad. I need a bluish highlight for the paper. I want kind of a yellowish, a light yellowish highlight in the hair. So although they've got white hair, I don't want it to seem too pure white. And let's see, our model here. It's a little surface dweller flesh tone. I'm going to take a blue gray. I'm going to color the same way I did those lines, just some one way, some the other, and have them crisscross a little, just to give it a feeling of irregularity. There we go. I think that's about doing it. I think we got ourselves a nice little Drider doing life drawing. Here we go. So, what did I forget to do? I forgot to come back to my inking brush, come back to the lines layer, and put a little stand in the corner. That's how we determine it's done. Put your signature on it. Kind of wanted to give the guy, the model, just a little word balloon that said "sorry," but that seems like a hat on a hat, as it were. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Michael says he live modeled for years. It's difficult. It is. It's really difficult. Trying to find a good pose. You want to give the artist wants something with a little stretch or a turn, something that's interesting, so you're not just standing straight up and down. But the more you do that, the harder it is to hold. It's like the calisthenics of just holding your arms out at shoulder length for as long as you can, and see how quickly you just can't hold them up. It's much harder than it seems. Striking any kind of pose that has any kind of tension in it gets very difficult after a while. Michael says you learn muscle memory to get back into the same pose. Yeah, and you also, I'm sure you had this happen while you were doing it. The whoever's running the class will come and mark tape on the floor or on whatever the chair, wherever you're sitting, to help you find the spots, right? Your foot was here, and the other foot was here, and your elbow was here. Don't mark it out ahead of time, but when you want to give the model a rest, and you do want to give the model a rest, you put those on to help them find the spot again. Standing on one leg. What are you, crazy? Let's see. After asking if I had the rights to Bolton Quiver, Michael says, sounds like it's time for some reprints and compilations. I've thought about that. It's the thing is, well, I should do that. They're all told, I think there are about 70 Bolton Quiver strips that got published across the various magazines, and I did a couple that were just for my old website, my old blog. So, that seems worth doing, but when you start putting that into something that feels like a book, it's a pretty short book. So it's in that in between. It's enough that I feel like, wow, this is a collection of material. Bolt and Quiver, the collected Bolt and Quiver, and then, but it's it's a it's not a very impressive book, size wise. The content, of course, mwah, beautiful. Oh, so impressive. 3 or 4 panel strips. Yeah, mostly 4 panel. Uh, some three, a couple of single, but they were always in the strip format. Bolt and Quiver. So one of the things was people people never could remember which one was Bolt and one was Quiver, or actually, people almost always got it wrong. And so I took to in as it went along to always have one of them say the other's name in the strips uh, uh, as they went into the second half of their life, because because otherwise people just got it wrong. Mock gets up sometime and guesstimate. I can guesstimate. I put them together. It all depends. Like if I want to put one comic, I could break a lot of them up so that the 4 panels ran like when I drew them. The first 15 or 20 I drew in a 2/2. It was 4 panels, but it was 2/2, like John Kovalik does Dork Tower. But when they ran in the magazine, they were always uh, put out as a single strip, a newspaper style strip. And so I started drawing them that way too. There were a couple I wanted to do some weird bits with the layouts, like one larger panel uh, in the middle, or a single long panel. So in the end, they're like that. If I did them, I suppose if I put the least that would be feasible is 2 comics on a page, which turns out to be like a 30-page book, maybe 40 pages. I mean, it's not tiny, but it's not. I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. Like, that doesn't feel like a book. It feels like a book. All right. I have another sip here, and then we'll start setting up. We'll do a second drawing. So we're going to come here. We're going to turn off round 1 and turn on round 2. Come back to our inking brush and the blue color that I like to do my sketching in. Turn back on the encounter tables. Comb my hair a little. Have one more little bit of Diet Coke. Actually, Coke Zero. Also not sponsored. And we started with a Drider doing life drawing. Let's go to the dice and see what we get for a second drawing, shall we? Come on over here. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this. Come back to the dice, and we're going to roll those dice and roll them, and see what we get. We get a 10 and an 8. Now, we know the 10 is going to be adventurers. 10 is always adventurers on the white die. 10 and an 8. So that's going to be adventurers. Happy hour. That seems too on the nose. Let's see what we can come up with for that. All right. So, why don't we? Oop, come on. Turn that on. We will. Now, I'm going to zoom in a bit. So, doing a bar scene in a single panel, you have two ways, or a few ways is sometimes. One is bartender and patrons, or even no bartender, just patrons at a bar that you're looking at from that side. You have corner of a bar, so you can have patrons here and patrons there, and maybe a bartender there, and maybe something going on in the background. And there's sometimes the opposite of that first one, where you got people sitting on bar stools, or patrons sitting on bar stools, and maybe a bartender back there. These are our most basic happy hour uh, bar style drawings. I suppose you also sometimes get the sidelong look, where you got the person at the bar and the bartender behind the bar, and they're interacting somehow that way. Um, so we got adventurers at happy hour. Now we could have everyone, them getting rowdy, right? Whoa, huzzah! Now that's what I call happy hour. Um, there's a lot of. I feel like this would actually be a fun thing to spend a part of an afternoon kind of just playing around with this idea. How many different gags can you pull out of the adventurers go to happy hour? Um, we could have the adventurers and like a dragon happy hour together. And it's kind of there's so many bar jokes. I suppose this is why I put happy hour as the tag, so it wasn't just a generic bar scene. So, uh, um, all right, so let's clear this layer right now. And I don't want just a generic bar scene. I want it to be happy hour. So we're gonna go with that. We're looking across a bar, and the characters are going to be over here. I don't think we're going to need a bartender. I'm kind of liking this idea of the dragon and the adventurers having happy hour together. I don't know that there's not quite sure what the gag is. I'm thinking tapas. What the hell is a tapas? Um, I I mean, I'm thinking the one thing I'm thinking is, boy, it's happy hour ends in 10 minutes, right? Or I'm gonna hate. Boy, I'm sure gonna be sorry what that I have to kill you when the happy hour's over. Or maybe there's no gag. I just kind of this is a fun little drawing. I think I'm just gonna let this be a drawing. The adventures and the elf, the dwarf, and the dragon all drinking together. And there, I'm happy with that quick sketch. I don't want to over. Sometimes I really want to make sure I figure out who is where and what's going on here. I think this very loose sketch is going to do. I'm I'm pleased. I like how that dragon's looking, particularly. So let's see. Where are we going to start? Where are we going to start? I would say start with what you're most confident in. I'm not sure what I'm most confident in here, but I'm going to start with a dwarf's eye. I very often will start with eyes. The exact positioning of where they're looking may change, but if I get the orb of the eye right, that's a good start. Our dwarf is going to be here with a big, well, I mean, for him, a big tankard, but it's going to be nothing compared to the dragon's tankard. Going to have some coasters there, maybe a bowl of bar nuts. Hmm. I'm not quite sure what this elf is wearing. But here we go. I want a big, big tankard that the dragon has. Thinking he's saying something like "roll for initiative, roll for bar tab." See if I clean that up so it'll fill up. Look at that, perfect. Got it right. They sure look like they're having fun, don't they? So a cleric, a wizard, and a paladin walk into a bar. I'm looking at this. I really actually like that dragon design. I may, for all of everything else that's going on here, I may come back and just kind of play around with this design just as a character. I like him. All right, let's turn off the sketches and see what it looks like. Yeah. The elf, the dwarf looks just kind of generic. The elf, I like the sketch. I don't like how, not loving how he's turned out. Oh well, such is life. Those who are about to die, we salute you. Yeah, I mean, if I take that and lower it on the page, we could still give them some. We could have them saying something. I don't know what. I don't. You know what? I don't love anything I've said. I don't love anything you've suggested. I think that we've all suggested things which seem okay, but none of them. They all everything I've said. Sorry, everything you guys have offered so far feels very. I don't know. Obvious is not exactly the right one, but they seem, yes, that's the joke that goes here. And anytime you're doing doing humor and the punchline comes and the audience goes, yes, that's what it should be, is it's just kind of meh. Which is why I'm still leaning towards the idea of maybe just leaving this without a caption. We'll see. This is still your chance to come up with other suggestions, but it's often, often you've got to win me over from my suggestion. I don't have a suggestion of my own that I like, so you've just got to win me over nothing. Like something that will feel more. A good caption adds to it. It doesn't just fit in. It gives you something that you couldn't have you can't get on its own. It's a extra. It's the extra part. It's the part you didn't see coming. Red dragon, purple dragon, blue dragon. What do you think? The dwarf is certainly going to have a golden tankard. I think the elf is going to have a wooden tankard. Dragon? I don't know. Golden also seems about right, but I'm gonna see. Purple dragon? Purple dragon, alright. I'm gonna go for a little bit of discoloration on the teeth. Still haven't figured out, well, what am I going to do for the dragon's tankard? Maybe just a darker gold. And then, let's see, I'm going to do the whole bar in that color. And then come back. Color over some of the parts of it. This is, again, a thing you can do when you're working in digital. Yeah, they're having a good time, these guys. Iterate, iterate, iterate. Yes and no, but yeah, you're 100% right. Oh, what do I want? What do I want here? I want to add a little. I'm not doing a lot of shading here, but I think that the dragon's spines in particular could use them. However, having done that, now I feel like, oh, I got to do some on the rest of it too. I really am feeling some kind of the gag being, you guys are awesome. I'm gonna hate killing you later. But I think we'll just stop there. I like this. I'm liking it, and I feel like, given everything we've come up with and what's going on in my head, I think that I would rather leave it with nothing and just enjoy this image, because I think this is a fun image. I like it. So I'm going to put a little stand in the corner. I'm going to call this one Finito. Adventurers Happy Hour. It's funny that this is the Adventurers Happy Hour, but the thing I like most is the dragon. All right, there we go. Adventurers Happy Hour, our second drawing. Done. Which makes this a fine time for me to do a little promo. And the promo is for the fact that my Wednesday show, the 50 Years in the Dungeon, I've done a whole lot of cartoon homages over the years. Last year, I ran a Kickstarter for let me grab it over here, for a calendar, which I've been using all year. I know a bunch of people here backed it. And it did pretty well. Kickstarters are a big pain in the butt to run, though, and I decided I was not going to do another one this year. But as the year has come towards an end, I've realized that I've enjoyed having this hanging next to my desk. And other people have told me they've really enjoyed it, and some people have come back and asked me, "Hey, you gonna do another calendar?" And my answer most of the year had been like, no. No, I'm not doing a calendar this year. What I really was saying in my head was, I'm not going to do a Kickstarter this year. And I didn't think about that I could do a calendar without doing a Kickstarter. it turns out that the place that I did the printing at, I can, even if I have a very very low number. Like I looked into it, could I print a calendar just for me? And would it be worth? Is it at a price that I would think is worthwhile? It turns out, yeah, they specialize in doing small print runs. So it's not like it's super cheap, but it's certainly, I could get one for myself, just one, and it would be about the same as I would pay for a calendar if I went to the store to buy a calendar. One I liked, not just not a random $5 calendar, but one of stuff I would like to have. So I looked at that and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make another calendar. And then I realized that I don't need to kickstart. Like, I'm not trying to raise a bunch of money to do this. I know what the cost is. I can print as many, like if other people want them, I can print them for them. So that's what I'm doing. I am making a 2026 wall calendar, and I'm leaving it open. I'm inviting other people, my fans, my friends, people that follow me. If you want to get a 2026 calendar featuring art from the 50 Years in the Dungeon show, different pieces than last year, and you can get it. You can pre-order it. You tell me. The way I'm doing it is I'm taking pre-orders, and that's it. I'm not printing extras. You will not be able to buy them afterwards. So, if you want to get one of these calendars, the cost is $25 for the calendar, and it's $10 to ship in the U.S. Shipping outside the U.S. is just too expensive. If someone from outside the U.S. really wants one, contact me, and I'll tell you how much it's going to cost to ship it, and then you'll tell me why you don't want it. But yes, so it's $25 for the calendar, $10 for shipping. Contact me, leave a comment, send me a note on one of my social media. I'll tell you how to get the money to me and what information I need from you. And then I'm doing this until December 14th. You have until December 14th to contact me and put in a pre-order for a calendar if you would like one. And then on December 15th, I'm sending the print order to the printers. And I don't know that you usually want people to have the calendar on January 1st. And I don't know that in fact, I feel pretty sure that won't happen with this. Putting the print order in on the 15th of December, I hope to get it back by the end of the year, and then I can ship it out. So I imagine that most people will get them sometime in early January, but I can't even promise that. I have all I can promise is the dates that I'm doing things, and that when they arrive, I'll ship them out right away. So if you are interested, as I say, $25 for it'll be a 13-month calendar, 2026 into January 2027, and full of nice Stan art. If you check my social media, I'm going to be releasing an image of each of the month, 1 month a day over the next 11 days left now before while I'm still doing this. It's a very round. I got lucky in that I timed it perfectly. I announced it with 12 days to go. Yeah, so that's it. That's my promotion. It's not a paid promotion. It's a me promotion. But calendars. If you don't want one, no worries. Just hang out. Let's do some drawing. Let's have some fun. The end. Good. All right. Let's have another sip here. Grab the pad and reset things. We're going to turn off round 2, turn on round 3, turn on our encounter tables. Have one more little sip. We had Adventurers Happy Hour. Everyone was having a good time. And before that, we had a Drider doing life drawing. Let's go back to the dice, get one more set of prompts, and have another drawing, and then we'll wrap it up for the evening. So we're going to roll the dice and roll the dice and roll the dice a little more, and it's going to give us 9 and a 3, which is a Salamander and Leftovers. Leftovers is from the. I put that on for Thanksgiving. I almost took it off this week, but I'm glad we got it. We got it. So, Salamander. You know, I almost didn't put that on. It's a weird creature. But let's go. We'll turn off the inserted image. We'll come back to our sketching brush and color. Salamander, in D&D sense, is a snake-like fire creature, fire snake. Again, kind of in the Drider sense, it's got the body, a snake-like body, and then a torso, a kind of demonic fire creature top, and they are associated with fire. All right, so the first one, I'm thinking about what I've drawn. I think we're gonna go. So I like to mix up how the draws are laid out. So the first one, we had a Drider looking this way, and a character looking that way. The second one, we had the dragon and the adventurers. I think I'm going to just come right to left with this character. It's kind of similar to the Drider in that it's just a I'm going to give him a big Bumstead sandwich. And I think I'm going to have a big open mouth. I guess if there's a thing to play in, the question would be what are leftovers for a salamander? I'm not sure I particularly want to play around with that joke. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to turn on Hello, Andrew. Glad you could make it. I like what you're saying there about the heartburn being pleasant for the salamander. I'm trying to figure out. Maybe I want salamanders don't breathe fire though. I'm gonna have them breathing fire on it. Again, maybe this is just a drawing. Maybe I'm not gonna even worry about having a gag. They are fiery. They are fire indeed. Hmm. All right. We'll go to the line slayer. Play around with that. All right, we're on the correct layer. Yeah, everyone's been. All three of the drawings tonight have had someone that is very happy. The hand's way too big. And it's similar to what I was talking about with the um, I guess my first drawing didn't have someone that happy. It had the artist, the Drider doing life drawing. I was talking about doing the webs on the wrapped up model. Uh, just having a bunch of lines that roughly show where the webs were, not worrying about the details. All what's ever in that sandwich, I don't need to worry about getting that 100% accurate. What is it? Who can tell? It's in the middle of a sandwich. Wow. Michael, so I looked up and I saw Michael say, Stan's going to hate that one. And I'm like, all right, we got a pun here. We got a pun coming up for sure. And we sure do. The pun being, how did the salamander learn so much? He'd always axolotl questions. Wah, wah, wah. And you are completely correct, Michael. I love hate that one. That's a like, wow. Wow, Chris, you really reached for that one, didn't you? On the other hand, good job. It is. It's very much a Dagwood sandwich. It's who knows what's in there. Everything's in there. I'm sure that he put some extra spicy mustard on it. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? Dagwood's in there. Yeah, this is a Dagwood sandwich because it's filled with Dagwood. Mmm. Now, what do I want to do? I want to grab all of these layers and move it up a little on the page. Turn off the sketches and see what it's looking like. Yeah, I thought so. Not quite clear enough. I'm going to have to clean up this, add a little bit. Particularly here, I didn't put enough detail. That's a spicy meatball. Here we go. It's alright. In fact, you know what? No, this arm is coming in at a weird angle. That's not making any sense to me. Mm-mm-mm. All right. What other little detail do I want? I want these fingers to end in talons or claws. Okay. All right. It's going down to 50. Oh, temperature? Oh, yeah. We're definitely in that part of the winter, part of the year, where suddenly it stops being fall and feels like winter. If you're lucky, only a few times a week. And if you're not, it's just nasty. I was saying at the beginning of the show how this is definitely the time of year where I notice that we're getting started and it's already very dark, and I can already feel the chill seeping into the apartment. Uh, what you gonna do? That's the way it goes. So I don't keep I don't let my apartment get particularly cold, but of course I don't want huge heating bills. So I don't keep it especially warm. But I was noticing the other night, I was noticing last night that my thermostat. I said my thermostat always reads the same temperature, and I can definitely feel times when it's colder in the apartment, and I get up and I look, and the thermostat says no, same temperature as it was. And then sometimes it's like, it's warm in the apartment, and I go over and the thermostat says no, same temperature that it was. And I thought that one of the uh, advantages of having a digital thermostat in this apartment would be that it would more accurately tell me, when the temperature drops. I would love to know which are the temperatures that I start to feel chilly at. Not that I'll necessarily do anything about it, but it's information that I can use for raising and lowering the thermostat sometimes just a little, a degree or two here or there. But yeah, I don't know why, but no matter what it feels like, the thermostat always tells me it's the temperature it's supposed to be. All right, here we go. We're going to need some shading here for the sandwich. We're going to have some different colors in here. We're going to have a little green, and we're going to have a little orangey colors. We're going to have a little, maybe we're going to even put some blue in this sandwich. Who the hell knows what a uh, Salamander has on their sandwich. Hell sandwich. There's some leftovers of various colors. And I think once again we're going to give the teeth. Not going to let those teeth be white. And now, I haven't done this in a while, I'm just going to turn the intensity down a bit. I'm going to take that down 10%. I think I'd put those colors in and they were just a little strong. The thermometer for the thermostat may be in a strategically wrong place. It may be, but there are two that in this apartment, and they both, you know, they both do the same thing. Sometimes it feels very different in the when I stand by one and by the other. I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it. But there we go. We got a salamander having leftovers. That's our third drawing for tonight. I think we're gonna stick with that. I'm gonna come in and go back to my layer, my inking layer, my lines layer, and I'm gonna put a stand down here in the cabinet because we have ourselves a salamander having leftovers. Mm-mm-mm. And there we go. That's it for our drawing for this week. Ah, I had a good time. I had a good time tonight, hanging out. I always do, but this I felt like I kind of needed it tonight. This is good. This is good. Thank you guys for being here, Lem and Chris and Michael and everyone else. Look up here. I see we've got 8 or 9 other people who are hanging around and watching. Thank you for being here too. You don't have to come in and say hi. You're always welcome to. I would love to know who's around. Yeah, no, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you got to spend some time with me. All right, let's see. I'm going to grab the pad again and get ready, and we'll do an outro. I missed Chris's request. What was Chris's request? Um, is it wrong that even with a blue mystery meat, the sandwich looks delicious? It's, you know what? I don't know. But if it's wrong, I don't want to be right. What? Can the jar on the table say hot sauce? Sure. Sure, we could do that. That's easy enough to add in. I'm going to come back here to my lines layer. You know what? I'm going to do it in red too. So we've got to go to the colors layer and erase those lines. Then we'll come back to the lines layer and we'll put in hot sauce. There you go. Ask and ye shall receive. Okay. Mwah. You ready to get out of here? I'm ready to get out of here. So let's turn that off one more time. Make myself look pretty. We have ourselves here a salamander having some leftovers. As we're saying, even though that mystery meat, we got a blue meat on there, still looks like a delicious sandwich, doesn't it? We started, well, before that, we had Adventurers Happy Hour. And they look like they're having a happy time. Happy Hour. Put all your troubles aside and grab a brewski. And we started off with a Drider doing life drawing. Those were our three randomized prompts today, and those are my three solutions in cartoon form. What did you do? Did any of you do some drawings? You can send them to me. I'd love to see them, and if with your permission, I'd be happy to share them on a future episode. But for tonight, I think we're just about done. So thank you all for tuning in. Michael in chat, and Chris Andrew, and Lem, and everyone else who's been here. It's been a pleasure to see you. It's been a pleasure to hang out and draw with you. I will be back next week with more cartooning fun on a Thursday. Not quite sure what's going to happen on Wednesday of next week. But again, I will remind you, as I talked about in the middle of the show, that I have a calendar, 2026 calendar, that is in pre-orders. So you won't be able to buy it. You need to pre-order it. There's not going to be a way to buy it afterwards. So check it out. Check out my social media for details. Check out the 50 years in the dungeon.substack.com for some posting about it. Or, the other thing you could do is, if you're enjoying what I do and you want more of it, you could come and be a member of my Patreon community. There's a free level. But, of course, I'm going to hope eventually you'll want to become a paying member, at least at a low level, just a little bit. But go there, and you can find out more about the calendar, or drop me a line, and I'll be happy to tell you more. In the meanwhile, I hope you all are doing well. Hope you stay warm. Stay warm there, Michael. It's going to get cold overnight. And be well. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you guys. This is not Thanksgiving week here, but I didn't do anything on Thanksgiving week. I say thank you guys for coming up. We are in the middle of the third year of this show, which is just a little crazy to me. That time has flown by so quickly, but I have a great time. And if no one ever showed up, I would still draw, but I wouldn't do this every week. And I'm very thankful that I do, and that you guys are here and sharing it with me. So here's to you. And with that, I will say good night. Take care.